Hi everyone, thank you for watching. We are SpiriGuide. We're starting our first ever podcast with my good friend August here, life coach, and we're going to talk today about goal setting. For those of you who feel lost, who feel like you're losing motivation a lot, well, we got you covered. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to set goals, but also thinking how to do them in a way that's purposeful, that's aligned with your mission. We both believe that we all have a mission for being here. I believe it's more on the spiritual side, a purpose. August believe we're here, tell me if I'm wrong, that we're here to do something, that we need a mission to get the ball rolling and help society. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that and find a common ground between how I am very reflective. I reflect a lot, but I'm more struggling to take action. And August is really all about action, action, action. But as we work together, we help each other in our projects. There's a lot of times where he helps me communicate his energy. He has a great energy to really drive action in himself and others. So we're going to talk about that. And sometimes I tell him, stop, reflect. It's too much. Stop right here, hold your horses and think. Let's just sit down and what's your target audience? What do you want to bring to the table? And then once that is clear, you can take action, like as Tony Robbins would say, massive action. So we're going to start. Hi, August. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for the opportunity.
For the first ever podcast. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Come on, man. So I'll give an example of how we helped each other, how lacking purpose was kind of, I run over like what has been my journey here so far. I was a UI UX designer, as you know, but for the audience, I was a UI UX designer, and I was feeling kind of drained doing work for clients. I mean, it's a great job. It's very creative. I am creative. It's good, but I felt really deeper that there was something that was missing. That I was not aligned with my mission. So then I had the idea of SpiriGuide about 2 months ago in August 2024. And then I just, I started just being super active and a lot of motivation because I knew that was my purpose, right? I knew that it was bringing me, it was guiding others. There was a deeper meaning that was aligned totally with my purpose. And so you saw the whole evolution in 2 months. I've made a huge progress, great momentum. I mean, you're the witness of that. And it really shows how it's not about setting goals only. Like I wanted to build an agency before. It's not only about that, right? It's about just setting those goals, but first you think about what type of goals, what aligns with yourself, right? So it's really an example of that. So do you have something to add to that?
No, I saw you go from a child to a man.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I saw it all. I saw you go from
A caterpillar to a butterfly.
no, but maybe like you said, like you were not really, and you would do things like you would go to the gym with not a lot of intention. You would do your jobs or look for new missions without a lot of intention behind it. And then in the shift that happened, now you do everything with much more intention.
Yeah.
Even this podcast, you prepared it with much more intention. We go to the gym, it's much more intense, the workouts we go through, the workouts you go through. And when we take a time off, we do it with a reason, because we've put so much intention in all our work, and then we deserve fully the time off, the day off.
Yeah, like
Or
we did last Sunday.
yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes it's like this. Sometimes you push, like you work so much. So we work every day consistently. We do. My thing is do something that brings you closer to your goal every day, right? So consistency, no matter how big or small it is, as long as I did something that day to bring me closer. Is it like contacting a lawyer? Is it like creating the script for a piece of content, for a podcast, whatever, right? Contacting developers, whatever it is. Each step is getting you closer to your goal, and this is the most important. And then once you're doing that, it's like what happened on you're doing that as well, and we've been doing that for what 2-3 weeks, I suppose, like consistently 3 weeks, right?
Mm.
For me a bit longer, but I was like, yeah, we really need to be in nature. And then we went up north in Bali, in the mountains, in the rice fields, and we just had a walk and ended up in the perfect place, in that place kind of secluded in between, like in a small valley with rice fields, like one person, one farmer here. And yeah, he just offered us everything he had.
That was so cool.
Such a
What
beautiful moment.
an experience.
Yeah, and smiling and offering us everything, a coconut. He went to pick up a coconut in the tree. And that is really, for me, I felt that as a gift from above to say, like, guys, you're doing really good, and you deserve that, like, we're giving this to you. You need to relax. And one thing you said is that that's something like August is so action driven that he doesn't want to stop, right? And I'm having that right now also. But and you were struggling sleeping, right? And I told you what you need is to get into nature and don't work for a day. Actually, you didn't work for 2 days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oopsie.
Yeah. The thing is, like,
And you
work,
slept
work,
like a
work.
baby that
Yeah.
night.
Work. Everything. Okay, I'm gonna go home. Work until 2. Then something happens. I wake up at 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm out of bed. I'm back on, like, trying to work. But in the end, I think I was like not diving deep enough into work, and then just taking some time off. The fucking 2 days, the 2 days of off work were not just like nature. They were like I partied hard Saturday,
Maybe.
and then the next day
It's
straight
part
away.
of the game, isn't it?
It's part of life. And then next day was a nature day, so it was just like take 2 days off of not even thinking of work. It was good because then I was like dead, bang to sleep, and then wake up. And before going to sleep, something I started doing now, I told you, is write down what's gonna happen tomorrow. Like, what's the agenda of the day? What are the tasks? I used to do that when I opened my restaurant here, and there was like COVID for 2 years. So it was just the hardest ever environment to open a restaurant abroad in Bali, where it's 90% the 90% of the business is about tourism. And what I would do is I'd had a small piece of paper, small notebook, and I would just write the tasks and then scratch them out. And that was so productive. And then I stopped doing that for a while, and just, Monday I was like, Sunday night I was like, I'm doing this again. This is so useful when you have many things to worry about.
Yeah.
Not only one business, but this. What's the priority? Cross it out.
That's the thing.
Machine.
So it's good. It's good that you're talking about it, because I wanted to bring up the topic, and yeah. So another limitation also, we can dive into that later. But yeah, I wanted to tell you today, like I have so many things to do, like shooting this podcast, which is the first one, interviewing developers to hire them, talking with the AI consultant to have an update about the AI and all that stuff. We're also having another work on the side, and I might have another one. And now I'm starting to feel a bit overwhelmed, so that's the limit of me. And that's where also it you have to leverage your strengths. And this is what this podcast is about, basically knowing where you are in that spectrum. Because I think we are probably more in the extremes, I would say, where, I've always struggled taking massive action. I did, otherwise I wouldn't be here in Bali, but I did, but it was always hard. And other people were always like, some other people were like pushing me, and that didn't help. It just adds pressure. And you are very action driven. So where do you land in that spectrum? So the purpose of this podcast is go through it, learn, like reflect. We're going to help you, like we're going to ask questions, reflect about where do you think you land in between us, right? And learn from our experience the pitfalls to avoid and how to cover your weaknesses. Basically, for me, it would be outsourcing the action taking. It would be outsourcing it. For August, maybe it would be more like having a strategist or something. Although he's really good at strategy also. But maybe when you're deep into something, you need to take a step back. So maybe having someone like that would help. So please, tell us about your experience with the restaurant. So you opened a restaurant in Bali, in Kerobokan, 2 minutes from here.
Yep.
And what year did you open?
I opened 14th of February 2020. And then 1 month later exactly, the borders, 15th of March, the borders closed in Indonesia. Oh, yeah.
I thought it was in 2019. I didn't know it was like just barely.
No, 1 month before. Oh. And for 1 month, it was absolute success. And then the 15th of March, it was just like an avalanche down. It was just like, and that's where, with hindsight, I don't know if I would have done what I have done. And maybe you would have been more smart about it, because I was like, I cannot fail.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, I have to save this restaurant. So for 2 years, I did nothing else than just try everything to save my restaurant. It's a small restaurant. But with hindsight, I started online fitness later, like 2 years later after COVID. I launched other businesses. With hindsight, I might have just cut my losses and moved on to something to something different. But
so that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
The not being tunnel vision on one objective, on one goal, but at the same time, I don't know if I would have panicked. It depends on how I would have been in my life at that time. But considering how I was at that time, I was not like financially free or whatever. So I would probably have like lost myself, like reflecting too much. On the other, like you get tunnel vision, but I would just reflect too much, see too many opportunities and don't act on anything. So that's why it's really a balance. I'm sure like people watching this are probably feeling lost and don't know where to start and are in that situation. So this really helps to set intentions clearly, like to avoid the pitfalls. So how did you push through? What was your rituals? Like how did you make it for 2 years? It lasted 2 years.
2 years. Just try to meet as many people as I could, show myself in the best light possible. So when I'd meet people, I'd be really, I'm joyful and everything, but I would really like be the image of my restaurant. So like I would be fit, I would go to the gym, I'd just be always smiling. I would another thing is I had a really pink helmet. Now in Bali you see pink motorbikes and pink helmets everywhere. But before, no. And I was thinking, if somebody sees my pink helmet, they would say, "Oh, it's Agus. Oh, I should go eat in his restaurant." So that was another tip. I would meet people. I would try everything, like everything. I made protein balls that I put in the gyms. I would change my menu. I would organize hikes, and I would say, okay, we're gonna pack a picnic, so I'm gonna make the food for you guys, etc. Everything to meet people, because the thing was the community was so small that you could really make an impact by meeting the people themselves. And all of this I could do because my restaurant and the team behind me was absolutely top notch.
So the right people
I got the right people.
and networking.
The right
It's
people and
about
networking.
connections. Yeah.
Yeah.
As would say, what's his name again? 10x guy.
Mm.
Grant
Grant Cardone?
Cardone. Yeah, thank you. So it's about connections. When he went to Undercover Billionaire, his strategy was connections. He went straight into, if you feel lost, like his thing was, so he was basically, some context. He was basically dropped off in a city in the US that he didn't know. He didn't know anyone. He had like he had $100 in cash. He had a shitty truck and a phone, but with no contacts, right? So what he did is, his strategy was, first he went to the gym, tried to meet people because you meet people who want to develop themselves there. He was like, if that doesn't work, I'll go to the library. Same thing. And he mentioned another place, but I don't remember. Well, he went to the gym and he made connections with, like you would do that clearly. Like you would go to the gym and find the owner, right? And then that went up from there. So really, this is a really good strategy for people like you who are very social and action driven. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I didn't know this.
And how did you feel during that time? Like, what was your emotional state?
Oh yeah. It was not anger. Like I was pissed off at the situation. I was a lot pissed off. Like, I was like, F you to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, also there was always context, like, yeah, I'm still doing good. I don't like Belgium. And I was like, I am blessed to not be in Belgium. So deep inside, I was super happy, but I was pissed off at the situation. And that was just fueling my energy levels. I was just fueling myself
out
up.
of anger.
Yeah. I would listen to David Goggins, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be like, David Goggins is not gonna sing you a lullaby for you to go through what you're going through. That's the thing.
I can see you now.
That is how I operate. Now, sometimes it's not correct. For example, if there was another universe where I canceled my restaurant straight away, started a new business, maybe I'd be in a very different situation, or maybe not. I don't think it was a bad move, because today I think I learned so much that permits me to open more businesses and be more smart about business. But for example, you would have been in the same situation as me. Maybe you would have approached the problem in another way and started a new business, for example.
For sure, it would have been a different approach. But I don't know if I would have done better. I think your approach was necessary at that time.
Interesting.
I mean, you got out of it.
Yeah, I still have my restaurant. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. So
another thing
during COVID, I mean,
another thing is I was doing it alone. I did 100%. Everything I did was alone. And this year, what I learned with you is that stop doing it alone, because two brains is better than one brain.
Yeah.
And at some point, in the beginning, you were talking about outsourcing, delegating. Sometimes when we work together, I feel I outsource a problem that I cannot fix to you, and you vice versa.
Yeah.
You outsource an issue that you cannot fix to me. And it's just so much more productive.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I really learned this year.
Yeah, just it's not so much that we're outsourcing, but that we're asking for another eye
Point of view.
point of view. Yeah. And since we're very different but complementary, this is very powerful.
But for me, it's like outsourcing. Like,
Okay, so
yeah,
pay me then.
like literally, I think
podcast
this
for free, man.
like this problem, I can't. It's gonna take me much more time to fix it,
Yeah.
and then I'll say it to you, and you'll be like, bang, 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 bang. Oh, it's such a relief. A task less to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes the same for you. I feel like, not that you're outsourcing, but I feel like, oh, like when you'll tell me an issue and I just go da 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 da, and then you go, oh yeah, okay. I think, ooh, I solved a problem that would have taken way longer in your head to solve, because I attack it from this angle, and you were stuck on this angle, just like me.
Exactly. Yeah, true. And sometimes it's also I realize sometimes, like finding the studio, for example. Originally I wanted to do it in a cafe with a view of the rice fields, and you were like, trying on a podcast, like a podcast studio, and we went to here, the studio. So we have a rice field view right here, on my left, and yeah, it was perfect. Unfortunately, we can't use it, but we added the plants and everything. But this is way better than it would have been. Like the quality of it, like was way better than we would have been in a cafe, and that all stemmed from you planting the seed. Like maybe you should do that. And then I was like, yeah, but that's not my vision. And then it grew from here. And it was not the only instance of that. Yeah. So thank you, man. Is there something you want to add to that? No. That's
No.
Okay. How do you handle those moments where you're still human, right? Are you human?
I'm a superhuman.
Okay. Are you Terminator by any chance? Okay, good. So how do you handle? Obviously, sometimes your energy dips. So how do you handle that? How do you handle like for our audience, for your audience as well? How do you, like, what do you teach? Like how do you do when your energy dips? Because it happens to everyone, and you just lose your motivation, right? How do you?
What do you mean by energy dips? Because lose motivation, I never had it.
You never lost motivation.
Never.
Why?
Because the goal is still there. So if anything, I don't lose motivation. I lose momentum.
Okay.
I never lose motivation.
I think for most people, it's the opposite, right? It's the reverse. They lose motivation, but they're still going because of momentum. No?
I don't know. I've never, ever, ever, ever. Oh, wait. Yeah, I did lose motivation when I was in Belgium. So I live in Bali, but I went back to Belgium at one point, and something happened where, okay, COVID stopped, my restaurant started picking back up, but I put 2 years in that restaurant, 2.5. I put everything in that restaurant, and I wasn't going to be, in quotes, financially rich from that endeavor. So I went back to Belgium. I launched another business, which was online fitness, and that wasn't picking up either. And then also I was in Belgium, so like 3 things that I didn't like. Some things happened in my personal life, 4 things I didn't like, and a little bit more. And I was like, I'm back in my parents' house in Belgium. I've launched 2 businesses. They are not an L, but they're not doing great, and I've put so much in it. Hey, why am I even doing this? So I lost motivation, but I lost motivation for a few days. No, wait, let me think. Did I lose motivation for a few days, or did I lose motivation for a while? I think that's the answer. I lost motivation for a while, but I didn't lose discipline. And I knew that if I put one step forward and one step forward, I gotta get there. And the steps were go to the gym, eat healthy, work as hard as you can on your business. Absolutely nothing else. So for, I think, exactly 1 year. So I came back to Belgium for my mother's, she has a breast cancer charity, and she was doing an event, a gala in October, the 12th of October. So I came back for the 12th of October for that event. Then I, like metaphorically, stumbled into Belgium and tripped over and fell and stayed there. And I knew that the way to get back on my feet was just to go to the gym and train as hard as possible. Gym and boxing. Then eat as good as possible. Doesn't mean eat salad. Just eat as healthy, whole foods as possible. And then work as hard as possible on my business. So wake up, do all these things, task, operate. And that's how, literally that's how I got out of this horrible period in my life. So yeah, actually, I think I was losing motivation because I was even thinking, why the hell am I doing all of this? What's the point? Why am I even trying to make money? You know? But I knew that the rules are the rules. As a man, you work hard on your business, you eat healthy, and you work hard on your physical, not just appearance, just like train, use your body.
The mental toughness.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's just use your freaking body. You have muscles for a reason to move your body, so move it. And literally 1 year later, 17th of October, my mom had the event again, and the 18th I was flying back to Bali. For 1 year, I built back all these businesses, and I came back to Bali, and it was just like I was seeing it for that year. A rocket. I was seeing like a rocket on the launch pad. I was writing in my journal. I started journaling also. I was writing in my journal. This is like, I see it as a rocket going back on the launch pad. Boom. And then that rocket just fucking.
Oh, so we actually started journaling at the same time.
Yeah, did we?
Well, you came back in October, right?
No, I started journaling from October. I started journaling, I know the date. 7th of October, I was in Lisbon. 7th of October is the first ever time I journaled. But not this year, 2 years ago.
Muito bem. Muito bem, irmão. Yeah, so, yeah, it was about the same time. I think mine was in like the 26th of September, I think.
Damn, that's crazy, you know, to remember the date. How impactful is that?
I don't know if it's the exact date. Like, I could
I know the date.
Yeah. Yeah, I was back from Budapest.
Maybe.
Lisbon, Budapest, you know, each their own. Yeah, so one thing you mentioned there, which I think was very interesting, is discipline is the key. Like consistency, discipline, get moving, using your muscles, you said.
Oh, yeah.
But you mentioned one thing. So this is very important for the audience. If you feel lost, like keep moving.
100%. That's the answer. That's the answer.
However, you also mentioned, you were like, why? Like, why am I doing this? Why? And then you relied on these rules to keep going. You know, a man should do that. Yeah. But you were lacking the why. Right?
The why was the same, but I was forgetting it.
So what was the why then?
The why is like, like you mentioned in the beginning, my mentality is, what's the mission of me in life? And I know what the mission is. So I just forgot it. But the mission is provide for my family. Would it be mom, dad, sister, or wife and kids? That's the mission.
So, yeah, you remembered that, but yeah, as we said, once we were talking with our friend Sabi, who's also part of SpiriGuide, and she was kind of feeling overwhelmed and anxious, and I went on and asked. I heard one day, I don't remember where, but I thought this was brilliant. Like, when you want to know the real reason, the real motivation behind someone's actions, just ask why 3 times in a row. And I've asked her 3 times in a row, and you were really into it. Like, yeah, well, that works. Because if you ask why, like, you were like, why the why is providing for your family, everything. But then why? What's the deeper reason why? And each time you're unraveling a deeper reason.
Yeah.
And so this is something that I wanna also emphasize, and that's a really good method, I think, to get what we're trying to say here, to set purposeful goals. Is, if you want something, just ask to make sure that you have purpose in your goal setting. Just ask yourself why, right? It's easier if you get someone, like a friend you trust, who you can confide in, and have that person ask you why, because it's always better if it's someone else asking you, right? If you don't have anyone, it's fine. Just do it yourself, but do it in a way where you're sure you're ready to unravel things. You're ready to set the ego aside and to actually unravel things that you might not like, but that are necessary for you to become better, more purpose aligned, mission aligned. And so ask yourself, why do I want that, right? And then if you get an answer, and then you ask again why, why that? Then you get deeper, and then you ask another time, and you get deeper. And I said 3 times because that's what I heard, and that's what usually works. But you can actually ask it until you really have no answer to your why.
I met someone this week, and he was saying, a sales guy, and he was saying, no, I ask it 9 times.
9 times.
You have time, bro.
You have time, and like, you're not free or anything, man. Yeah. You just take a shower. Wow, 9 times. So he knew about it, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, it's a thing that should be on your list. Like, ask yourself, what can I, like, why? I want to find the real reason why I do something. Ask yourself 3 times why, not just once. So yeah, because that answer you gave, that why, we could dig deeper. We're not going to do that right now because there's not a
10 minutes later.
psychology session. Lie down. Oh my god. Okay, but you have like two techniques to kind of recharge or like reframe or keep the motivation going. You mentioned listening to David Goggins.
Yeah, listening to David Goggins, it's an example, There's a lot of great quotes. There's some YouTube videos that combine all these great quotes, and I just listen to them in a loop. Or what I would do is, I would, at night, just before sleep, I would scroll a little bit on Instagram, and then I would, the algorithm was feeding me all this same genre, like these
naked ladies.
No, not at all. The opposite. Like these great moments. These moments, like, for example, Teddy Atlas talking about the fireman. Teddy Atlas is a boxing coach from Mike Tyson, actually. And he has a famous quote where he's talking about, we are going into the fire. He's talking to, in mid-rounds, like he's talking to one of the fighters. Those things, or freaking, again, David Goggins, Jocko Willink, some of these quotes, because they're actually really profound, and they're just motivating. So I would just loop them, and then I would bike to the gym, I was in a co-working, bike in the rain, like listening to Jocko Willink telling me, you can do it, blah, blah, blah. And
The heart.
yeah, and I'm gonna say a bad word, F it, that's what you have to do. It's not, I wasn't happy, I was the opposite of happy, and I've been happy all my life. I'm happy now. Like, I've never been unhappy, except maybe like when I was a fucking kid or whatever, and I moved to Belgium. But like, I was deeply, maybe you can say sad, but fuck it, who cares? You put a step forward, and you put a step forward, and you put a step forward. So that was just keeping me on track. So that was a really good thing. Otherwise, just also the going to the gym and tracking your lifts like you should in the gym, and seeing results and improvements, or going boxing and seeing improvements, or going in business and seeing improvements. Now, improvements in business are there's more ups and downs than, for example, in the gym and in the
yeah, that was my
ring.
question. Like, what if I, for example, have a hard time gaining weight? So what if, like, someone, and I've been training for a long time, but didn't really gain weight, or kind of increased like bit by bit, What would you recommend to someone who is like that at home and doesn't see progress, and just cannot have that reward effect,
The thing is, like we said earlier, I have a difficulty outsourcing, but this year, in all of my business experience, I've never really outsourced, and it's changed a lot this year. And I realize I've been missing out on so much scaling by not outsourcing myself, my work. So the same, if you struggle in the gym, outsource that, outsource the process to a guy, a coach, who's going to tell you, oh, bro, it's fucking simple. You do this, 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 and you add to this, that, and you just do it consistently. Just like you were struggling in the gym, you were not doing whatever, but you know that the only reason you're not improving is because you're not... In business, you can have ups and downs, but in gym, it's objectively because I didn't do it consistently.
Yeah, actually, I knew that I was consistent, but my thing was nutrition, basically.
Yeah.
Just not being able to eat enough.
So basically, if your nutrition is on point and your gym is on point, there is no tapering off.
Yeah.
If you're consistent with it. Whereas in business, there can be, it's not as streamlined, because you can have a hiccup here, a hiccup there, etc. In the gym, it's not. In the boxing ring, kind of also.
Yeah.
If you are less good in the gym or less good in the boxing ring, it's because you didn't train correctly for the pass, etc.
So I think this is where environment actually comes in, because here in Bali, for example, it's super easy to actually have good nutrition. Like, if your aim is to eat 3,000 calories a day, that's fairly easy with like protein shakes and all. When I was in Poland, it was the same with like those yogurts in Cyprus, the Greek yogurts. It's like super easy to get your protein and your calories. So like developing a...
Depends. I would agree not.
How?
I would agree I've a harder time here than in Belgium, for example.
Really?
Yeah. Because I eat...
All clean things?
So, because I eat out, so it's always smaller portions. In Belgium, I would cook, and then there's less distractions. Here, there's gazillions of distractions.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think it's the environment is set up to be able to actually have a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're at home and you have to cook for everything, it's harder. I mean, personally for me, it's harder. Oh, I need those things. I need systems in place, like yogurts that's easy to take and have a lot of proteins.
I would say in Belgium, I was healthier. Here, I'm definitely happier.
Oh, that's
100%.
wow. Yeah, there's no rain here. I mean, there is.
Oh my God. Do you have time on this podcast? Because I can list out.
Let's move on. Okay, what's now a challenge that you're facing, a challenge that you have, and how are you now having all that experience, that hindsight? How are you now tackling that issue, that challenge?
I think the only challenge I'm facing now is in my business-wise. That's it.
Okay.
What is your question?
Yeah, anything.
Yeah, just business.
So how is that challenge? How would you describe it?
It's just a specific challenge. Like I'm now gonna change my online business audience type to a more niched one, and so I have to change course of where my business previously was going. So that's just the challenge.
Okay.
It's a thing I have to fix.
Okay. And how do you approach it now? Because that requires a lot of
Thinking.
thinking and reflection.
Yeah, I outsourced it to you.
And other people. That's the thing. You go.
Yeah.
That's the power of Bali is that you can meet people who are knowledgeable in this area. So if you have a problem about anything, like you can actually outsource it. I guess to not outsource it, but like seek for
Experienced people in that domain.
Yeah, exactly. People who have gone through that, or ideally people who have gone through that, or people who understand it and can provide you with a different perspective. And that's the beauty of Bali, is that you have, in entrepreneurship, you have people who have experienced literally everything. So yeah, if it's building an app or creating,
Running ads,
coaching,
creating leads on LinkedIn, perfecting my LinkedIn.
yeah, everyone has like there's someone here who has done that. So
Yeah.
if you can figure out someone who have or several people who have done that, finding a mentor maybe, that's also a big thing. I've never had a mentor, but
Me?
so yeah.
The nice thing about Bali is like I'm ready to meet the whole planet, and in Belgium I can't. So in Belgium, if you want to look for a LinkedIn guy or an ads guy or whatever, you have to go online. Whereas here, I organize events, my friends organize events, there are networking events most of the time. So it's a blessing because I just show up to the events. I meet every single person and I meet a guy in that domain or a guy in this domain or a guy in this domain. So it's like the Elevate X events, they are so good.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I love working, but I feel like I'm working when I'm at these events.
Yeah.
Because I'm just meeting people, business. But they're a party. It's so good.
Yeah. And it could be for entrepreneurship or it could be for anything else.
Yeah. Or even just when we go to a cafe, we meet someone. What are you working on? Oh, I'm going to introduce you to you know, that
Exactly. Yeah.
networking that you do in person, you can only do it. I mean, not only do it, but you can do it so easily in Bali.
And I think something that also is important is knowing how, well, you've seen it clearly, spending time with me while building the app. Like, how many instances have there been? I think 3 major instances where we met the right person at the right time, you know. And I think that's also very powerful. And I think this is more for the spiritual side, but
Yeah.
if you're meant to meet someone, just put yourself out there. It's not by staying at home that you will. Like you're just cutting out all the possibilities, all the opportunities. But it could be as easy as sitting in a cafe, where people like that you need to meet might frequent.
Yeah. Also, that's the vibe of Bali. I know in Belgium, if you sit next to someone and you start talking, people are going to be like,
Yeah.
What does he want? Does he want something from me? Where's my bag? Whereas here and in other places in the world, yes, of course. But we're talking about specifically Bali. Here it's like, oh, nice to meet you. No. Oh, what do you do? Oh, no way. You do this? Well, actually, it's like really an open vibe here.
As I say always, like in Bali, if something is supposed to happen, it will happen, because the vibe is so open, and the people are so interesting that you will and can bring value into your life. Like you will meet the right people if you need to meet them.
Yeah.
Like it's the gift of Bali. Yeah. So in a nutshell, go
come here.
Go follow Instagus. Go follow Augustin for 2 weeks in Bali, and you'll see the difference.
That's what I offer now.
Yeah,
it's just a no-brainer.
No, for sure. It's just you just meet so many people in 2 weeks. That's not like just how many people when they arrive in Bali they met the right people to go to the next level,
Yeah.
And this is what you offer. So I highly recommend if someone is getting lost, is feeling lost, or even has succeeded, but is just everything else is not on par with his success, then I would recommend following Augustin for 2 weeks. Okay. So I think one last thing that we need to set clear is, how do we balance between those two energies, right? How do we balance? Because clearly your energy has been very positive on me, and my energy, my reflection, like sitting down.
No.
Okay. Well, let's move on. But I think it has been very, very good, and it has shown both of us. Like really, it has opened my eyes, and I think that, as you said, it has opened yours as well. Like, no, but I think it has, and there is such an interesting dynamic where, like, I think we can like. The purpose of this podcast, as I said, is to find a common ground and find a method. Like I think there is a method here that can be developed to make sure that you act, but at the same time that you act on the right stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What do you think?
Yeah. He's the host now.
No. What do you think? So me, it's action. What I understand is like I'm gonna action. But you're gonna add some. It's gonna make Exactly. I was gonna say some thinking, but I hope I think.
Well, I wonder sometimes.
But that's the thing. Like, I'm 80% action now, and sometimes with a lot of your input, I'm gonna be like, no. I have to think this through, and I'm always thinking I'm wasting time, but actually, no. At some point, you said like it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks of you thinking about the ideal persona and interviewing people and understanding the real solution that I'm bringing to them, the real pain that I'm changing in them, addressing in them. And I was thinking, 3 weeks? I don't have that time. I need to fucking do now. But actually, no. It was like the right thing to say.
It saves you time.
Definitely saves me time and errors, and so now I'm thinking I'm 80% action and maybe 20% sit down, think, readdress the situation, change course,
Yeah,
boom,
reassess. Yeah, it's
reassess.
really important. And yeah, like what I'm doing right now with SpiriGuide, I'm working with Gwenelle, for example, on the user research, and we're going to have at different milestones, we're going to really research and by the way, if you want to be part of this research or you want to be a beta tester for the app, there is the link on my bio. So feel free to subscribe, not subscribe, but
Your bio of personal or SpiriGuide?
SpiriGuide, the SpiriGuide bio, and yeah, just join the wait list, and you will be able to be one of the first to use SpiriGuide. We're probably going to limit it to 150 people at first, and so this is your opportunity to have access to the app early on. It's gonna be good even early on. We already have the AI developed, and people love it. And you actually used it.
Yep.
He would try well. He wouldn't stop using it. That's amazing. The first version, and yeah, just using it and giving us feedback. So as you give us feedback, we'll make sure that you have the subscription for free for life. So that's the goal as a thank you, and you'll be one of the brand ambassadors. So basically, testing the app and talking about it to people, like spreading the word. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. This is very important for us, and it helps us. But the goal to do that, why we do that, and why we do, I work with Gwenaya, is because doing that actually makes sure that we design the app for the users, right? For the audience, for the people who are going to use the app and to change their lives, right? Because that's the whole thing. I could do it with my ego and like, no, this is what they want and everything, and it doesn't work, so it's better to just do that work. It's extra work, and frankly, it's very efficient, so it's not that much of extra work, but it actually it's those kind of extra work that you're like, okay, if I do this, it will save me a lot of trouble down the line, So it's obviously the way you develop an app. It's the whole process of developing an app, but it's also the way one should think about things, because you can easily end up in a tunnel vision and just not just be faced to a wall at some point and have to basically kill your whole project and your whole progress, right?
Yeah.
So that could save you like months and potentially even years, depending on what you're doing. So yeah, always make sure that, it's a balance, right? Because you have, like, for example, the app right now, I need to release an MVP as fast as possible to test the prototype. But at the same time, it has to be, there is reflection to be had. So it's really a kind of balance. And I think we're getting there. We're getting, both of us, we're finding the right balance. So this is really nice. And smiling and dancing while at it. So I think, the one, I don't know, like one thing to think about is, clearly, where are you on that spectrum, and where
are you action? Another thing is, you're more spiritual than me.
Yeah.
I'm action. I'm not thinking of I'm not like you. My mission is not something spiritual. My mission is like, I have to feed, metaphorically, of course, my family.
Well, that is noble.
Yeah, but that's not like,
it's
not like, oh, my mission as a human on planet Earth is, no, my mission is fucking, you need food, baby girl.
It's the same thing, basically.
Yeah, I think there is something like another separation. Like I'm action, you're more less action, more thinking, and I'm not spiritual, you're more spiritual. Get a little bit more spiritual, of course. The more you meet people, the more you I journal and stuff like that. But I think there's also like, where are you on the spectrum?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you are kind of spiritual, but there is also a spectrum where I'm interested in SpiriGuide without being necessarily spiritual. I played around with the AI and I didn't want to stop because there is a lot to be taught.
Yeah.
I have a lot to learn, but it doesn't make me necessarily more spiritual. It just gives me more guidance for the level of spiritualism I am at.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was interesting. Where are you also on the spectrum here?
Yeah. So really, like, yeah, it's about gauging which side are you on, like, who are you, and finding ways to balance that. It could be one person, you know, like we're doing that. That's helping a lot, and it could be also leveraging outsourcing, right? Outsourcing the strategizing and outsourcing the action, but as well knowing how to be balanced, like how to knowing. I think something that the people on my side would struggle with. That's not something I struggle a lot with, not anymore, because I've learned it from different experiences. But perfection is the killer, right? If you're looking for perfection, if you're a perfectionist, you're not going to move forward because there's always something wrong, right? So you're probably, like some of you who are lost, like, consider that. Is it because you're too perfectionist? Are you looking for perfection, or are you willing to do Pareto's law, stopping at 80%? That's something that has been really helpful for me during the development of SpiriGuide, is knowing when something is 80% good. I'm done. I send it.
Damn, I never knew about this. What's it called?
Pareto's law.
Pareto's law. Okay.
Unless I'm wrong. Yeah, Pareto's law. Yeah. And it's actually 80. You never heard that? Like 20% of the actions leads to 80% of the results, and the other 80% lead to 20% of the results, right? So why would you focus on all of it? Just focus on the 20% that drive this work smart, you know, like focus on the 20% that bring 80% of the results, and then go from there, move on. That is super powerful for thinking smart. It's a framework to think smart.
Yeah, maybe I waste too much time on the last 20% to make it closer to perfect, and I'm wasting a lot of time.
This is where all of the time is, basically.
Damn.
Trying to finish up stuff. Yeah. So, and then you can actually outsource
the remaining 80% to get the next 20%.
Yeah, exactly. You outsource that. What's one goal that you've set where you really struck that balance? If there's any, there's one between purpose and between the why and the action, and how did it turn out?
When I was, good question. When I was helping so there's a few businesses in Bali, and I was just like, you could say, consulting for all of them. So I was fixing all the problems. I'm so action driven, and there was no need to think here. It's just task. Ka-ching. That was the perfect balance.
Perfect.
Task. Perfect balance. Here, now, right?
Strategizing as well.
I was strategizing. I know So the thing is, I know exactly what to do, so I just do it. In some other cases, like uh, in business, you have periods where everything is easier, everything is action driven. Sometimes everything is like the change course of this of my online business is less task oriented.
Mm-hmm.
It's more thinking, strategizing. So for those who don't know, I'm a fitness coach. I've been a fitness coach for a while, but I've had results with clients that were way bigger than just fitness. And so I've changed the course of my business to kind of a life coach, because I just want to work with the people with a deeper why. I want to work with the people who, one guy, I took him from zero gym, zero workout, zero diet. Now a year and a half later, he's running triathlons. He spends better time with his children, or he's better at his job. Like he feels more proactive, productive. Another guy, he's like top performer in his job, since we work on more than just gym. So I'm looking for those guys and that are more niched. And so the change in course, so for example, landing page, content strategy, offers, etc., requires not tasks and actions. It requires sitting down, opening a computer, thinking, brainstorming, interviewing, testing, etc. These are less action-driven moments. So they are kind of not foreign to me, but they are not the ones that fulfill me the most. So that's so when I was not in those periods, then that's where I strike the perfect balance.
Okay, interesting.
Here, I feel like I've done a lot of work today, but I can't enumerate what I can tick off, you know?
Yeah.
Like I improved my landing page. Yeah, but is that quantifiable? If I've done this and brought this to here and fixed this problem, that's quantifiable. You can cross it off and it's over. It's the best.
It's also hard. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to quantify. I think it's also good. I know it's not so much the way you see things, but I think it's really good to actually, like we did this weekend, to actually just reward yourself and let yourself be rewarded.
Yeah, I rewarded myself on the dance floor.
Exactly. No, but do what you like, and just like when you make progress, just reward yourself, because that builds the dopamine loop. There's a lot of evolutionary aspects as well, where you have that dopamine loop. If you never reward yourself, like what is momentum? Momentum is taking massive action. It's basically what Tommy Robbins talked about. Basically, you have action that feeds it. No, you have motivation that feeds into action. Then you have actions that feed into results. Result that feeds into confidence, and confidence that feed into motivation. Motivation that feeds into action, and that's an infinite loop. So it can be a virtuous cycle. But then that's what was really interesting about it. What he said is, you cannot fake motivation.
He said that?
I mean, no, wait. What was it? Maybe there was no motivation. It was action, results, confidence, and action. Maybe. I think there was a fourth one. Yeah, I think it was motivation. And basically, like motivation, it's not that you can fake it, but you can easily lose it, right? So it's kind of the spark. But then...
Oh, yeah. Then good point.
You cannot start with results. You cannot start with confidence. You can't. It's not how it works. The only thing you can start with is
motivation.
Action.
Oh. You said this motivation is the spark that drives into action.
Yes, true. But I'm not sure if it was motivation, but basically it was all about massive action.
To that point, I listened to a quote. I can't remember who it is. A guy who has a podcast, a Chris guy. I forgot his name.
Chris, like Modern Wisdom?
Yes, I think so. And he said that you can, just like you can fake courage by, if you're scared of something but you still do it, you're faking courage. If you're not motivated to do something but you still do it, you're faking motivation, and that is motivation. So
Yeah, and exactly. Yeah, you fake. Yeah, you have. Oh, it was faith. It was faith instead of motivation. So you had faith, action, results, confidence, or faith and confidence would be reversed maybe. And so basically, the only thing you could start with is faith. Just having faith that you're that you can do it. Faith that you're the one to do it. You know?
interesting.
And that is powerful because that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I have faith that I can impact millions of
Yeah.
people through SpiriGuide. And
Another thing.
I would not do it. I would not have that motivation if I didn't think that.
Yeah.
If I didn't have the grander vision of things, you know.
Yeah. And another thing is, I think by somehow with your UX UI designer, you didn't have a purpose, but somehow by doing more things with intention, you figured out a reason, a purpose. So now your whole SpiriGuide endeavor is so purposeful that you never lack energy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I've never lacked energy or motivation, apart from the small story I talked about. And that's because I have a purpose.
Yeah.
Everything I do is for that purpose, is that mission.
Your energy is on par with what you're doing. That's right.
So actually, if you're lost, all you have to do is ask yourself why, then why, then why. Find your purpose. Action, baby. Action, action, action.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's the whole strategy. Like it would be just as simple as that. So that's the key takeaway, I think. But also for me, what really helped was doing I've always been a bigger picture kind of a guy. So it was pretty hard for me in those, like at the university and stuff, where they teach you to be specialized and stuff like that. And I was in development, like in programming, computer science, and electrical engineering. Like, I just could not fit in that box.
Just small things, you know.
No, I just could not fit in that box, you know, because there is no grander vision on things, you know. And I think this is where, for example, someone like Elon Musk, like who wants to send people on Mars and revolutionize the world, that's where he gets engineers to follow him, you know. That is the why. That is the why. And in fact, I marked down something here. In another book that's good is Why, or Find the Why by Simon Sinek. And it's all about that, like how to find that drive in you, like the real reason why, and how to gather people around your cause also, because you share that. And people actually, so there's two sides of the brain. There's the neocortex, which is the analytical side.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been developed further into evolution. And then you have the limbic brain, the limbic system, which is more like the survival, like not the lizard brain, I don't think so. But it's way earlier in evolution that it has been developed. And that is about emotion, behavior, and decision making. And it's all about the why, because when you have the why, you have the emotion, you have the deeper reason, you talk to the limbic brain. And then on top of that, you have the neocortex that can actually think and take action, right? But it all starts with the why.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why asking why 3 times, then if you're aligned with that, then you can take massive action. Would you agree with that?
Totally.
What did I have? Yeah, so what advice should we give to the audience, to people who feel lost? Like, one thing we said. So why? Just ask yourself 3 times why. Then like maybe they could think of a goal that they're striving for and that they're having a challenge for. So for example, like me in UX, for example, or whatever. What is a goal that you have a challenge for? And is that challenge more energy related or purpose related? That's a good question, right? Like, is it more a purpose thing? Or is it more like for me, like UI UX design, I was feeling drained. Was it more that I needed to take more action or that I was not aligned with my...
What do you think?
I was not aligned with my...
But you were not taking action for anything.
I mean, yeah.
So
That's one way to put it.
so what was the
No, I was, but
you were
I was
nowhere in
I
life.
knew, I knew that I needed to take time to reset because I had put pressure. My goal was to come to Bali, and I did, and I wanted to savor that moment, and I knew that I needed to release the pressure. And look where it got me. I knew that.
But how did you release the pressure? The way you released the pressure is we went way more intensity in the gym,
Yeah.
in nutrition, in actions, whatever they were. So it wasn't just I'm going to sit down and ponder. It was in the momentum of doing
I think there was
more actionable stuff.
Yeah. So the way it went is there was it was a lot of months prior to that, and it was about prioritizing other aspects because so far I was prioritizing work and I was not doing much aside from, even though it wasn't necessarily driving me results or whatever, or I wasn't doing it full time, I was not really thinking about anything else than things that could make me money, like investment and work, right? And then it was about forgetting a little bit about that side and focusing on being grateful, enjoying Bali, because that was my objective, to be here, and yeah, learning an instrument, a language, all that stuff, boxing, going to the gym, and so that really helped to set the stage to release the pressure. And for me, it took months, but it's me personally. But then I knew that when I will have an opportunity down the line, I will take it and be able to take massive action.
Yeah.
Look where it got me.
Yeah. You know what you just said is so interesting. So the program I offer for people to come to Bali for 14 days is exactly the same. And it's so funny that you added a specific thing. So you come to Bali, I take care of you, we're going to go to the gym. I'm not going to live in the gym. We're going to go to the gym just like we have to. We're going to eat healthy, yeah? We're going to socialize, etc. But there's also, we're going to do martial arts, yeah? But there's also a bonus skill that you choose. It's either, I always wanted to learn how to dance. I always wanted to learn Spanish. I always wanted to learn an instrument.
Piano.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's how I think, that's my philosophy, is not to sit down and ponder. It's to act on things that are intrinsically valuable for you. Learning a skill, learning a martial arts, using your body and learning about your own strength, eating healthy. These are the foundation that you need before you start asking yourself, why do I do this? Why? So I think, in my opinion, without you and us going through that process for a few months, you wouldn't have had this epiphany of SpiriGuide, and also attacked it like you did. You've launched a startup in 2 months, like a massive startup. So that's my opinion. That's how I see it. But I think you see it in a different way.
Yeah, I see it in a different way. There was a lot of work of journaling,
Mhm.
taking chances as well in life, like opportunities, just to be able to grow as fast as possible. I did things that, yeah, just were not particularly like the right decisions, but I knew that I would learn a lot from it. So I took the shots, and that led to a lot of insights. I suppose more wisdom as well. But the fact is that there was a lot of like meeting the right people, also like opening myself to meet the right people, to open myself up spiritually, like to learn spiritually. I was open to that, and that helped a lot. And without that, I will not be doing what I do right now. So it's very holistic. And what you're saying is a big part of it, but it's not the only thing. There is a lot of it's more holistic than that, like developing the purpose as well and everything.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So one thing also, like that we could ask the audience, and that also is very linked to your program, is what is one area in your life where you feel disconnected, where you feel disconnected from your purpose, where you feel it's not moving forward. What is that area, right? And then try to find ways to get it back, So there's also, I think it was Ty Lopez, I think, who was very big on the 4 pillars of life. So you have, was it health, wealth, love, happiness? If you have to assess constantly, where are you on a scale of 1 to 10 on each of those pillars, right? And if you see that there's one pillar where you're really, it's not great, like health, for example. You're successful, you have a wife, but you're not in a healthy place. You're not healthy and everything. That will like that will spill over the other pillars, right? So if you're not healthy, your relationship might suffer, your work at some point might suffer, your happiness will suffer, and so maintaining that, So I think this is where, ask yourself, what is one thing that you actually need to, like, you feel lost in, you feel like it's not, you feel disconnected, and then act on that, start acting on that. Don't let anything just follow you around without taking care of it, And that's where what you offer is really what we offer as SpiriGuide and what you offer. So as SpiriGuide, we're helping you we're giving you a companion and resources and human guidance to help you on whatever challenge you face in life. You can also explore spiritual topics and concepts and the intercrossing between spirituality and science and all that stuff, philosophy. But really, it helps you solve issues. It's a companion to help you. What you're doing is the same. It's people go to you to have that holistic approach, right? So I think this is very important. What do you say? You agree?
Yeah, I agree. The difference is, again, I'm going to be action driven.
Yeah.
So you come here or we work online and I tell you what actions to take to find that purpose or find that reason of why you successful in your job. If you're unhappy, just like your pillars, you could be really successful in your job, but unsuccessful in love, family, confidence, health, those things, I'm going to take action on them.
I think this is what's really good right now for the audience. Like, this is a massive opportunity because they start with SpiriGuide, right? SpiriGuide gets them to know their why, their purpose, and all the everything. It's basically me guiding them through an AI and resources, right? And then they get the benefit. If they're watching this podcast, they can actually come to you in person to get that energy to speed over them, like the energy, the action taking that SpiriGuide cannot offer, and that is like the whole. That's what I always say. Like, SpiriGuide, it guides you, but then it uses actual human guidance to really guide you completely, and that's what you offer. And so this is a really good opportunity, to have a holistic approach on issues. So yeah, I think that's not only knowing where they land in that spectrum, but actually using both those approaches. And now they have the tools to do that.
Yeah.
So this is amazing.
We're changing lives.
Yeah, we did.
We're making the world a better place.
So one thing also to ask is what action could you take today? What habit could you set up to get you closer to one goal? Think of one goal that resonates with your purpose, and then find a habit and take action, right? Do it in that order. Don't do action and then think, oh, is it the right thing? Okay, maybe you can take one action, just to get the ball rolling, but think early, is that the right decision? And then take massive action. Yeah. Okay, so I think we have a good point. So in conclusion, do you want to add something?
No.
I think in conclusion, it's really about asking yourself the why. So find something that resonates with you, a purpose that resonates with you, and ask yourself why 3 times. More if you need, maybe 9 times as your guy. But then once you have that, just figure out a plan to execute on that. So that was my side, and then your side, and also mine. Actually, it's the intercrossing of both, setting up a plan, a strategy, and then, massive action, as Tony Robbins would say. Take massive, massive action, and then just assess regularly. Assess once every 2 weeks, or every other week, or every month. Just ask yourself, am I still on the right track? Am I still on my purpose? Right? And I think, yeah. And then we're here to support you. If you need, obviously SpiriGuide is not released yet, but it will be very soon. And so using SpiriGuide to have that guidance, and then being directed to August for actually taking action. He's going to be there for you, and you can come to Bali and follow him for 2 weeks, and he will introduce you to a lot of people. Everyone that you need to meet, you will meet. You will have his energy. He will help you grow muscle, grow your mindset, grow everything. Well, maybe not everything. and you, it has no value. Really, it has no value, because I've been through it. I mean,
It has no value.
No, it has no. It is very. It's the value cannot be estimated. That's what I meant. It is
Has no value.
invaluable. Is that the word?
Invaluable.
Yeah. And
Worthless.
yeah. And yeah, that is value that cannot be estimated, because it can change your life in 2 weeks. Really, literally change your life in 2 weeks. So if you feel like you need that you feel like you're struggling, maybe you're successful, but as we said, there's an area that is not following along, then use SpiriGuide, figure out what it is, your purpose, and then have August to complete that and give you the action taken, follow through. I suppose also you keep in touch afterwards to make sure that everything's going well, that you have accountability and stuff like that after those 2 weeks, and yeah, and remember why. All good. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next podcast. Thank you, bro.